Hey Cones, welcome back. My name is Tommy from the I'll Always Be Booked Cruise podcast. Today we're going to go over my last trip to the world famous Jack Shack on Grand Turk. I'm going to walk you through our day as we took in a few hours at one of the most celebrated bars in the Caribbean. And at the end, I'm going to tell you my overall thoughts on our experience and share 5 things that I'd like to see Jack Shack do in order to maintain and improve upon its status as a Caribbean institution. Stick around. We don't lie to each other on this channel, Cones, so let's call it like we see it. As beautiful as Grand Turk is, it's not the destination with the biggest list of excursions and activities. Sure, you can snorkel, you can ride horses, rent a moped, or just chill on the beach. But when you're talking about Grand Turk, the real Grand Turk, most people choose between 2 options, Margaritaville and Jack Shack. Now, I know I'm going to upset some people on here, but like I said, I got to call it like I see it. When people talk about Grand Turk, I feel like it's the fashionable play to throw shade at Margaritaville, the big, bad corporate giant whose capitalistic ideas and approach to hospitality, they're only concerned with the bottom line. It's big business at its best, and most people get into the mindset of, hell no, I'm going to go support the little guy. Enter Jack Shack. Believe me, I am all about eating local, drinking local, supporting local. But come on, there is a limit, right? Local has to support you back, right? I don't care what anyone says. My money is going to go where I believe hospitality and professionalism mostly exist. Jack's Shack opened about 12 years ago, and I don't have the full story, but from what I hear, Jack spent his entire career in waterfront construction. He was on the island helping to get the pier built for the Grand Turk cruise terminal, and he fell in love with the place. He decided that it was going to be his last project ever. He met his eventual wife, Janet, who was a relocated Canadian nurse, and they planted permanent roots by opening up one of the most famous island bars in the Caribbean. Also, you can't tell the story of Jack's without including their world-famous, dearly departed furry friend Topher the dog. Thousands and thousands of tourists made the hike down Governor's Beach to get a bite, a brew, and some quality time with Topher for many years. Yes, I agree that a natural charm, underdog mentality, and redeeming qualities can absolutely sway me to make some infrastructural and convenience or overall quality sacrifices if that experience is A, good enough, and B, at least appreciated. My point is that you don't automatically get a free pass just because you're the little guy and because you compete against the corporate giant. The law of diminishing returns will always eventually kick in. And let's be honest, Jack's is barely the little guy anymore. When ships are in port, that place looks like it's making money hand over fist. I remember going to Jack's a couple of times, and while not going for purposes of analyzing the place, my general memory was that I wasn't blown away. On my last cruise on board Carnival Celebration, I decided to take in the full Jack Shack experience, and I wanted to find out once and for all, was this an offbeat, refreshing alternative to the big bad corporate giant? Or does it rest on its laurels as an overrated beachside watering hole with a built-in sense of entitlement? Yes, we're going to find out. So my friend JP and I got off the ship, and after checking out a few places at the cruise center, we began our trek over to the world-famous Jack Shack on Grand Turk. Now, if we want to make it there before an all-aboard time, we better move a little faster. So Jack Shack is battling something right out of the gate. Aside from going head-to-head with a well-financed corporate conglomerate, it has to overcome that hot, sandy beach walk when Margaritaville is just steps away from the pier. This is not something that would ever deter me from going to Jack's, but you got to mention it because it is part of the experience. All right, so we got to Jack Shack, and we really didn't have a sense that anyone cared if we were there or not, to be honest. I know they were busy, so they probably didn't, but with that type of mentality, you're not guaranteed to be that busy forever. There were no seats available, so we made our way over to the bar. Since it was busy, we did expect to have to wait for a little while, and we did. When the bartender did get to us, my friend JP asked what the local rum was. He was shown just a simple bottle of well liquor. We also asked for a beer list, so we did our shot of rum, and we got our beers. My friend JP says, "Man, I really wanted to drink the rum that you guys drink." The response from the bartender was, "Nah, you couldn't handle it." As I handed him the $100 bill that we were going to use to pay for it, we both said, "Nah, I think we can. We're both old school bartenders, so it probably wouldn't be a problem for us." His response was, "Oh, you should have said that in the first place." Then he gave us our change, and he went to the next guest. Now, when I counted the change, he gave us change for a $50, not the $100 I gave him. So we were never able to get his attention again, but we did get the attention of another bartender. We told her, she told him, and he smiled at her and said, "Oops, I thought it was a $50. Now, she gave us our correct change without even questioning it. Likely an honest mistake, but the nonchalant attitude with no apology just made it a little awkward. Either way, we did like the local beer. I got an IPA called Down the Road, and JP got a lager called I Ain't Gonna Lie. Cute names, good beer, so we were happy for now. One thing I did remember was how good the chicken was. So we went to the end of the bar, saw the process for getting the food was to order it at the end of the bar, pay for it, and then collect a ticket and wait in line. And what a line it was. We were at Jack's for about 2.5 hours total, and about an hour and 15 minutes of that at least was waiting in line for our food. All right, the Jack Shack experience. You get a drink at the bar. Bar is the same thing. You walk over, you get yourself a, whatever you order. So, JP, what'd you get?
Combo, mixed combo. Jerk chicken and conch fritters, I think.
I just went with the jerk chicken. You wait on a line that looks like this, and you pick it up. They'll give you this, and you're ready to go.
There you go.
How it goes. I'm sure it's going to be delicious. While we were waiting, we noticed that the music kept cutting out. There was a gentleman there who was sitting near the speaker, and he would continuously have to fix the speaker to get it working again. We briefly spoke to the gentleman. We found that his name was Dallas. He didn't even work there. He had just been on the Celebration for the past few sailings, and he knew how to fix the problem, so he would just do it voluntarily. After doing that a few times, he eventually noticed my shirt. He came up and offered me a shot, and at that point, I asked him if we could just have a quick chat.
What's up?
I'm here with the smoothest man on Grand Turk. This is Dallas. He was nice enough to give me half of his shot. Dallas, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dallas, how many of these Celebration sailings have you been on?
I've been on 3 so far, and I'm doing 8.
He's doing an 8 total, and then you did something similar with the Mardi Gras, right?
7 on the Mardi Gras this year.
So this is the smoothest guy on board, and we are going to try to catch up with him. I'm going to try to hunt him down on a sea day, and we'll do maybe 10, 15 minutes with Dallas. But Dallas is a legend, a Celebration legend, a Carnival legend, and see this T-shirt? He's getting this at the end of the cruise.
And we look forward to it.
Best that ever did it. After talking to Dallas, we continued to wait in line. We made some friends, talked to some people, and we actually had a pretty nice time while we were waiting. Now, when we got close, we could see the crew back there. They were working so hard to pump out all this chicken, fries, and conch fritters. They were all doing the absolute best they could. I got to be honest, and I got to bring up the fact that they were dealing with a nasty fly problem. Now, in fairness to Jack's, this was pretty much everywhere in that area, the immediate vicinity. We eventually got our food, and once we did, we tried to escape the flies by going outside the realm of the actual restaurant. We even went to the nearby shore where it was only slightly better. I realize how tricky of a situation that can be given the circumstances. Now let's talk about the food. Oh boy, was this some of the best jerk chicken and conch fritters I had ever had. JP and I both agreed that the food was delicious. 5 stars, over the top, and absolutely 100% worth the wait in line. All in all, it was a good trip. We made some friends while having a delicious local bite and brew. But Jax, you gotta work with us a little. This is one of the most celebrated and famous bars in the Caribbean. From the frozen drinks to the fresh grilled chicken and the local beer, as well as the company, we absolutely loved it. But there are a few things that need to be done in order for me to call it a better overall experience than Margaritaville. Some are very simple, some not so simple. Really, think about what you're up against with Margaritaville. Right off the cruise ship, you have one of the biggest pools I've ever seen with a swim-up bar, modern amenities like large clean bathrooms, no pests are flying around, a staff that throws a party and seems to welcome us and appreciate us spending our dollars there. Jax, I'm with you. I'm on your side. I want you to be able to maintain your reputation as the charming underdog operation that outperforms the $1 million monster on the block right down the road. Here are my 5 things that Jack's Shack should do to cement itself as the best option on Grand Turk forever. Number 1, Build an actual kitchen. You have the space. Get some real stainless steel equipment in there with some walls and some ceilings. Staff it properly with a head chef, an expediter, and bang out that food. The menu's small, and at our peak there were never more than 20 people ahead of us. It should have not have taken over an hour to get our food. This will also help with the pest situation. You'll be able to have a system where you could set up the equipment and you could properly clean it and break it down every night. I know it will be expensive, but like I mentioned, as an operator, I can tell the revenue is coming in to support it. Number 2, more seats. If you're going to have a first-come, first-served operation, set up some picnic-style benches that can be lined up along the beach. I don't know what it's considered as far as your property, but I do know you have some seating out there. It needs to be doubled up so that people can feel comfortable and that they'll have somewhere to sit after they make that big, long, hot trek down Governor's Beach. Number 3, build out new and better bathrooms. Another capital expense that no one wants to incur, but it will pay for itself within a few weeks. People want clean bathrooms. Oftentimes in restaurants, they associate the cleanliness of the kitchen by looking at its bathrooms, so let's get that done. Try to implement some standards for your staff in terms of friendliness. They don't have to be the best bartenders. They don't have to be the fastest. They don't have to kiss people's ass. But people are on vacation and you are selling hospitality. Make people feel good about opening their wallets and choose to spend their hard-earned money with you. I know they are very busy. Sometimes they would even crack a smile, but this isn't something you could force them to do. If you do sell them on how it will benefit them and their pockets, you have a chance of getting them to cooperate. At least maybe not it's everybody smiling and being the most friendly bartender and server in the world, but from a percentage standpoint, you will improve. Now, last and most importantly, have a central figure on the floor operating as the face of the place. This can be a manager or a senior host or server. Anyone with a knack for talking to people, someone with a dynamic personality whose only job is to float around and touch tables. They put out fires and they make sure no one leaves without getting the true Jack's Shack experience. This is that smiling face that can joke with people. They can de-escalate situations where people might be complaining. Keep everyone in the building, staff and guests, in a great mood. Let them work that line that is waiting for the food. They go up and down that line, and the right personality can make all the difference in the world. So those are my 5 tips for Jack's Shack that are absolutely free of charge. I know I'll get some heat for making this video from the Jack's loyalists, but please understand that it's made with absolute love and sincerity. I've been talking about Jack's on my podcast for 6 years, and I have no plans on stopping anytime soon. I want to see Jack's win and keep the hearts and minds of every cruiser that goes to Grand Turk. I'm in your corner, Jack's. You got this. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out the Always Be Booked Cruise podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast. Also, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe with the notification bell on. It's my absolute pleasure to keep sharing my experience, reviews, and information while connecting with you on all things cruising. Boat drinks, Cones.